Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Melanie, your She Shed Scrapper. So today I am back with a 2-page layout, but I decided to kind of go through my thought process with you guys. So I was just in the house and printed off photos. I do have to trim a couple of them. And they're all from 4th of July last year. But I did print pictures for all three of us, my 2 boys and myself. So let's get them at least sorted out. It is raining today, so you might be able to hear that in the background. I think it's such a peaceful noise. Let's see, these ones are mine. And then these are Eli's. So what I am going to end up doing is using both of my Versamats, which is kind of why I ended up buying 2 of them, because then it just is easier for me to kind of get an idea of my 2-page spread. I want to kind of have it even, I guess, throughout. So each of these piles of photos will be 2-page layouts. So we will kind of figure this out. So this one here, I was going to kind of just have these all across the page was my initial thought inside. My husband, bless him, he oh, it's so funny. And I just told my youngest, don't tell your dad I chose the silly photo of him. And of course he ran outside and told him right away, but he was fine if I used a silly photo. Then we have these 2. I have to give photo props to my husband. He is getting so good at capturing my vision, I guess. So both of these were my idea, but he actually took the photos. This one, you guys, just melts my heart. The way that these 2 are looking at each other, I just can't help but love that. Now I'm wondering, I should have another one. Maybe I'll paint another 2x3 photo from the parade and put it up here. So if I were to do this, it kind of would be lengthwise. So I would do another one. And actually what I could do instead is go like that and add a 2x3 up here. I'm sure I can find another 2x3 from this day. It would have to be up and down. That's going to be the issue, but I kind of like that. So maybe we'll just stick with this. I just can't. This one has to stand out. That's for sure. Actually, both of them. So let's see about, I guess we'll see somebody else. What do we have here? So we have parade and we have picnic. So again, you see same photos. However, they go with different people. Different people. What if we did? The problem here is that, I don't know, I kind of like the grass ones together and then the other ones on that by themselves too. I might have to come back to this one. Could do this. Those are 3 really strong photos on that page though. And then we could almost go across the page like that. Not gonna lie, I like this one a little bit better right now. And then it kind of gives me an idea too. Do I need to go print more photos or do I have enough here? So I probably have enough here. I am just not sure. I love, and actually I probably could steal one from this son. So this one, oh my goodness, he could not make it for the fireworks, bless his heart. My parents took him anyways and he fell asleep. What if we did, but then there, you're leaving 3 small photos over there. We could do that. So I'm thinking that's one I could steal for the other child, but then we end up, which I could. Do something like that. I think we're gonna do layout 1. I'm just not convinced on the other 2 layouts. So we'll go back to layout 1. I will get my 4th of July stuff out. So let's go back to this one and figure out how we had it, huh? All right, well, these ones are going to go, he's going to go there. And the reason why I'm choosing to put Eli in the middle, so you can see that I am facing in, he is facing in. So then I guess what I'll end up doing is double matting this one and popping it up on foam tape. And I think that will be good there. Oh, and then this one I was going to do. And actually, is it the right? Oh, it's not. It goes that way. Well, I could do that though. It's okay that it hangs over a little bit. I might do that. So this is for me. That's right. This is for me. I don't want a 4x6. What did I have? I'll do both. The one with both my boys. Yeah, I think it's okay if it hangs out. It doesn't have to be a complete grid. So I think I'm going to steal that one from Jackson and kind of come up with this layout idea and figure out papers. So that's going to be the trick for this one. When I do layouts like this, I usually will do strips of paper across like that. So I might do that. And then if I have them thick enough, it will be fine to come across that way too. It'll just leave open space here. But I'm running out. I'm just voicing my dilemmas because I tend to scrapbook really quickly when I get in front of the camera. So here's like my thought process. I only have a few pieces of white cardstock left. So maybe I will use a navy instead of white, which I don't do often, and it does scare me. But I think I might do that and then bring in like the red, white, and blue with the pattern papers that I choose. So I am going to go get my papers ready and then be back, and I will have it sped up while I create. But that's kind of how my thought process is while I am creating my layouts, or planning my layouts, I should say, because I do sit down and plan my layouts ahead of time so that when I do get in front of the camera, I am able to scrapbook pretty quickly. So I'll be right back. All right, so I grabbed my navy cardstock, and so I'm going to kind of replace my photos where I want them. I did go ahead and grab some pattern paper that I thought I would want to use. I have just kind of a big stash of all things red, white, and blue. And so I kind of just went in and picked what I liked and that would look good with a navy background. So I am going to just use 2 strips of the striped paper here. I believe they're 1.5 inch strips. Which actually I was nervous about, because then I thought, okay, well, what am I going to do on page 2? Because if I did just strips, then there would be a wide open space to the right of my photos. However, I believe using that 1.5 inch strip gave me the perfect size left over so that I could just lay that across, and then the pattern will show behind my photos instead of the blue background. So with this one here, I also wanted it to look like it went all the way across and all the way down the page, but I didn't want to waste it. And so I did just cut strips of that as well. I believe that must be 1 inch or 3/4 inch. And so I knew that I would trim page 1 down. And so you see, I do have that away from the left-hand side a little bit. And then I thought I would do the same with the ones on page 2, but I did actually decide to bring over that red paper all the way across the page on page 2. And when I was looking in my stash, I found some cut aparts that I thought I liked a little bit better than that 2x3 photo that was the other, I think, landscape. I don't know why I can't think straight when it comes to that. Is it portrait and landscape maybe? Anyways, I liked how it was even, I guess, on page 2 by using that cut apart. So on page 1, I'm just putting my photos directly on the layout. You see that I only have the 2 photos, and that is because I did want to pop up that middle photo on some foam tape and mat that one. And so I only tape down the outside photos, and then I'm gonna, do the rest of the layout, because once I kind of mat that photo, it is gonna overhang that polka dotted paper a little bit. So you can see here, I lined up my, that red paper as much as I wanted, and then I just flipped the layout over, trimmed off the excess, and I just felt like, or I feel like that helps me so I don't cut them in different lengths. I've learned my lesson over the years that even though it says that I cut them the same length, sometimes they don't end up exactly the same, and it bothers me. So if I know that something is going to overhang, I will let it overhang, and then I will trim it off so that it is flush after they're all kind of taped down. So here I am going to place my photos directly on the page as well, leaving no gap in between. I don't always do this. That is for sure. I do love to map my photos, love to double map my photos. But with this one, I decided not to. And so I am just going to kind of lay them where they're going to be. However, that one photo of Eli and my dad, that one needs to be a focal point. And so I am going to mat that one as well. So in doing that, I wasn't thrilled because obviously now it's larger, and it's going to overhang that cut apart. So the edges of the cut apart don't look the same width, I guess, and it does kind of bother me, but it is what it is. Again, I want that photo to be the focal point of page 2. It is one of my absolute favorite pictures, just the way that they are looking at each other. It is adorable. So there's no way I couldn't have that as a focal point. So I'm just going to have to deal with the fact that it does overhang on the cut apart a little bit. But I am matting them, and I am popping them up on foam tape. By doing both, I really feel like it draws your eyes to those 2 photos as opposed to the rest, which obviously I want the rest of the photos to be viewed, to be looked at. Otherwise, I shouldn't have put them on my layout. But sometimes there are just those special photos that you want to stand out. And by matting them extra and popping them up on foam tape, I feel like that helps them stand out just enough from the rest of them. So now that I have that done, I kind of had to figure out how to embellish. I didn't have really any idea. I have this really old Pebbles collection, and has some colors that I normally wouldn't use. That light blue, I am usually just that navy, deep red and white for 4th of July, but I did like that light blue. There's some florals in there too that I knew this layout was for me. If it was for the boys, I wouldn't usually add those extra florals, but because it's for me, I figured, oh, you know what? I will use that collection and I will use some of those florals. I believe this sticker sheet is part of that Pebbles collection. Again, it is so old. I got everything at Tuesday morning. Kind of right when I first started shopping there. So years and years ago. So I did decide to add that giant title to page 1, but then there's that perfect kind of space on page 2. And it just kind of fit this United We Stand perfectly. The width of it was perfect. I kind of liked the height of it as well, I guess. And so I am going to actually end up using 2 of these, which I was kind of surprised about, but happy about as well, because again, these are super old. And even though I love them, I feel like I do tend to hoard them. Just because 2, I think sometimes I like gold better than the silver. But the Pebbles collection, some of the stickers have that kind of silver in them. And so this was kind of a good way to use up some of that silver, those silver title stickers. So here is kind of a can with some flowers in it. I just thought that was really cute. These stars are left over from a layout I did last month using the Erica Rose Creates Happy 4th of July cut file. It was what was left over once I cut that out with my Cricut, and I decided to keep them. And I mean, why not? They're red and they're stars and perfect. So on this Pebbles sheet too, there were a couple of popsicles, which I love for the photos on page 1. So I did end up adding a floral cluster. I think I popped that popsicle up on some foam tape. And then kind of trying to figure out now where else to embellish, I guess. I, again, wanted to incorporate as many of the florals as I could. And so I am going to use that one, kind of sit it upright. I didn't want it too far to the left. I didn't want it too close to my title there. So it does overhang. I will go back and I will trim that down. But then there is, you know, the other popsicle I popped up on foam tape there. I just love the floral and popsicle duo. I don't know. It's just so fun, especially the colors. Perfect for those photos on page 1. So once I have that done, that's kind of going to finish out page 1. Now to page 2. I just kept looking at everything on the sticker sheet, and I don't know. There's just a lot of different options. I did really like that hat, but then I saw these faces, and I thought it would be really cute at the top there, kind of as like an arc over top of that United We Stand. And so I did add that, and then I kind of just kept things simple. You know, there's that cluster on the bottom, and then there is that big kind of second title there. I did forget I had quite a few flares from Scrap and Happy Studio that are 4th of July. And so I did add a grill down to the bottom right cluster. This was at some of the photos, I guess, were at a cookout we do at my parents' in the afternoon. And so I thought that grill was perfect. I loved the kind of flag star, so I did end up adding that on top of my photos with a couple of phrase stickers, and then just adding a couple of little phrase stickers here and there as well. So unfortunately, most of this I cannot link because that is just how old it is. I might be able to find a similar Photoplay or Echo Park 4th of July collection. So I'll do some research for you guys, because I do think there are a couple newer ones out there that are super cute if you are in if you're looking for a new 4th of July collection. So I will do some research for you and link some of my favorites down below. But I think that is really going to kind of finish off this layout, adding another flare from Scrap and Happy Studio. I'll link that down below as well, because there's just so many options there. Not just holidays, but all things summer and sports and school and spring, summer, winter, fall. So many things. But that is going to finish off this layout. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.